Hello YouTube, welcome to another League of Legends commentary. My name is Rooble, and this will be another high and low commentary between the teams Soraka, Master Yi, Lucian, Karma, Trundle versus Warwick, Morgana, Corki, Zed, and Jax. So it looks like the lane matchups are going to be Master Yi versus Warwick in the jungle. Kind of some interesting things going on here. I would guess Soraka support with Karma mid, but it could be some sort of different. Trundle is most likely going to be in the top lane versus Jax, and the purple team mid laner is most likely going to be Zed, and in the bottom lane it is going to be Corki and Morgana versus Lucian and most likely Soraka, but it could be Soraka mid with Karma support. Very interchangeable. It'll depend how they decide to build. So that's pretty much it. Let's get this party started before we get too far into the game. So now let's see what's going on. This is quite a few diamond and challenger level players here, and nobody I immediately recognize besides maybe Haste and Sepeku AW, and I feel like WreckingBalls from Cloud9 is also fairly familiar, but I am not always very good at knowing who's who on the summoners. So, should make for an interesting game regardless, and it looks like it is going to be Karma support with Soraka mid. So, kind of interesting there. It looks like everybody's going very standard starts. The supports are going with that Spell Thief's Edge, which is recently changed in probably about 2 patches ago, where the Spell Thief's Edge is actually one of the highest potential gold items in the game. So, well, in terms of support items, just because of the way it works. It does have the lowest, it is an aggressive item because it does require you to actually be fairly active in the game and know when to actually 30 seconds until minions spawn. It does require you to play a little bit more aggressive than actually getting the coin or the shield. The shield is a very defensive one, but it is very good, and it looks like we are seeing some fairly aggressive purple motion here. Looks like we will be seeing some counter jungling, but I think they're trying to find Master Yi here at this red buff, but it looks like Master Yi is going to be starting blue, so I doubt they are going to be finding him anytime soon. Let's take a quick look at what everybody's running. Starting with this blue team, looks like Raka is going fairly aggressive. She does have some hybrid pen there, it looks like. She's not very far into that AP train, but she is a little bit, and it looks like Karma is going to get caught a little bit out there, but not too badly. Just a little bit of trading damage there between the two supports. So once again, looking at those items real quick, Master Yi looks like he is fairly far into that offensive tree. Lucian also very far into that offensive tree with no lifesteal, so probably going full AD Quince. Karma, she is fairly far into that offensive tree as well with a cooldown reduction. Actually gets hit by a snare, forced to flash out of there. Going to take some pretty brutal damage, and Lucian is actually going to take some pretty solid damage there as a result as well. And it looks like she is going to just pot up and try and stick around in lane, trying to do as much poke as possible with those Qs that she can spam like crazy. Purple team, it looks like, is going to have a slight advantage here at the bottom lane just because Karma will be forced to burn a lot of those pots, but it looks like they won't be forced out of lane quite yet, and we'll see how much of an advantage that draws to late game. Looks like Trundle is starting to pressure that Jax a little bit, which is to be expected. Trundle has a little bit stronger early game just because of that bite. That ability to steal the AD means he has a much higher trading potential at this early game, and especially with a small level advantage. But once Jax starts getting closer to level 6, I think he's going to have a much better chance of being able to trade there. So everything going fairly standard here, nothing too exciting in any of the lanes, just a little bit of aggression across the board. Soraka is kind of an interesting pick versus Zed just because she does have that hard silence, so she will be able to lock down quite a few of the abilities, and this Jax is taking some brutal amounts of damage up at top lane. Meanwhile, at bottom, it looks like Yi is going to come in for the gank, and it looks like they are going to be able to get this Morgana. She does flash way back, manages to get out just for now, and it looks like she will get away safely. So nicely played by that Morgana. Managed to get out there, using that black shield to mitigate some of the damage, and then flash out just into that safety zone of the turret. So purple team is still playing a little bit defensive, and Warwick is slightly ahead, but Jax and Corki are just a tiny bit behind in these lanes in their respected lanes. So, and it looks, and So a lot of changes going on, but it looks like Morgana manages to get a nice bind here on Karma, and that's going to be enough to force her way back, forcing to do a very defensive shield. Meanwhile, Corki and Lucian are just duking it out, but Lucian does have an advantage with those levels, which means he actually is going to get a substantial trading differential there, just because Lucian, once he gets that third ability versus a level 2, has a huge trading potential with that passive. Morgana landing a nice bind. Corki actually is going to Valkyrie in, but is going to take a brutal amount of damage there, force it back there before he gives up the kill, and it looks like Jax is going to be caught between a rock and a wall here, and we'll see if he can do anything with it. But first blood does go to that rock. A nice wander up there from Rock, ensuring the first blood there for herself, and Trundle getting the assist. So nice play there, and it looks like we're playing very aggressive here at this bottom lane. Karma actually almost gets the kill there on the Corki, but a nice flash out, and he is deciding to stick around here. Lucian manages to relentless assault there closer to that Corki, but gets brought fairly low, and Corki still sticking around here trying to get this kill. Very aggressive here at this bottom lane. These guys are so low. All it takes is a little aggressive play here from these junglers, and it is going to be enough to get some very big kills here. But Warwick is down there, which means blue team is going to have to play very, very defensively, and this is so very aggressive. Staying in lane while being this low is so very bad. Meanwhile, in mid lane, we are seeing a little bit of aggression. Master Yi is still there at bottom lane, so we'll try and keep an eye on both while it's going on, and it looks like Zed is going to be able to get the kill. Not quite. That Ignite brings her incredibly low, but keep in mind, Soraka is very good at staying alive just due to that passive. Morgana's pool there is doing a very good job. That Tormented Soil doing a very good job of poking away. Nice damage there. Lineup of the damage there on Corki. And it looks like Master Yi might be able to get it, but Morgana lands a beautiful binding. But nice little dash there into some damage from Lucian, and Karma gets the follow-up kill there on Morgana. So nice double kill there at bottom lane. Just good group team effort, and Lucian doing a very good job of following up there, knowing the limits of his champion, and just doing some solid damage. On her first back, it looks like Soraka decided to buy a second Doran's Ring into a Chalice, so she really wants to be able to push the lane, roam around, and just spam that Q all day, try and force Zed into playing much more defensive and not being able to play very aggressive. Meanwhile, Trundle decided to go with a Vampiric Scepter, which is to be expected. He does like that lifesteal with that additional damage that he does get from his Q. So, and it looks like Lucian got that BF sword on his first back, while Corki did only get the Vampiric Scepter, which is going to provide him with a little bit more sustain. But once again, Lucian, with that passive and that additional damage there from the BF sword, he is going to have a lot more trading potential, and he's most likely going to be winning out on these engagements at bottom lane. And it looks like Yi is just farming it around here in the jungle, doing a very nice job. He does have about an equal farm with this Warwick. And it looks like they are both going to be going into from that Madrid's Razors into the Wriggles Lantern, into that new item that was just released, I want to say, just last patch, which is a very late scaling item that scales based off of killing large minions in the jungle. It evolves kind of like Seraph's Embrace, and big damage here going down on Morgana. She is going to get killed, it looks like, but barely makes it out. Karma missing that final Q, but this Corki is going to take some big damage. He does Valkyrie out and manages to get away, and meanwhile, we didn't even get to notice that Warwick and Warwick and Zed managed to get the dragon there. Zed engaging here on the Karma, burns the ultimate, does some nice damage, but not quite enough to take out that Karma. But Lucian did manage to put in enough damage, and that is the power of that early BF sword on Lucian. He does have significant trading potential there, and is able to bully people ridiculously hard just because of that passive. That passive, in case you aren't aware, every time he casts ability, his next attack does 50% more damage, but it counts as the second auto attack. So on-hit effects do act twice. So it's a very good ability when it comes to it's a very good passive when it comes to that early trading potential. It does fall off a little bit late game, but it is still fairly strong. Some of the other champions, their passives have a tendency to fall off a little bit more towards late game. Like Caitlyn, she can still be fairly strong, but her power mostly relies on mid game. Nice looks like tower dive here at top lane from Trundle, and manages to pick up the Jack. So nicely played there at top lane. We will not back it up here just because we want to keep this game nice and flowing. Meanwhile, at mid lane, Warwick does a nice suppression there on Soraka, and it looks like she might be able to get away. Flash is burned from everyone, and we'll see if she gets the kill. Nice silence there on Zed. He is unable to follow up, but Warwick manages to tower dive. But Yi comes in, looks like he is going to get the double kill there. Beautiful alpha strike. Getting that damage there on Warwick is going to ensure the kill with the turret. And then the other one, Zed, goes down just to that final auto attack. So nicely played by Yi there, and that will actually turns out to come out ahead there for that mid lane, just because it did turn out to be a double kill with 2 assists rather than a kill and an assist. So nicely played, and blue team is proving to be very, very strong. The gold advantage is now about 3.5k in blue team's favor, and a lot of that gold looks like it is going to be on the Lucian and the Trundle and the Soraka. So the ones you definitely want it on. Like, it's nice to have it on these junglers, but you definitely want it on your top, mid, and AD carry. Mainly the AD carry, just because they are such a strong role at the mid to late games. And the sooner they get to late game, the stronger they are. So definitely a very strong advantage here for this blue team with this Lucian being so very fed. And he does have enough gold to go back and almost buy that Bloodthirster, which is what I assume he is going for soon. And a nice tower dive here going down on Corki, but he is doing a very good job of mitigating as much damage as possible, but Lucian does get that kill, along with 3 assists for Rakohus and the mighty Karma. And it looks like they are going to get this bottom turret. Morgana dropping some Tormented Soils here, trying to put on a little bit of harass, and we'll see if purple team can do a little bit of counter pushing here at mid lane, since Raka did expose herself at the bottom lane. But it looks like they are going to push out. Taking a quick look at the items, it looks like Trundle is going for a quick Blade of the Rune King. So is Jax, unless he decides to build that into a Hextech Gunblade. But I would guess that is most likely going into a Blade of the Rune King. And there is that new Wriggles Lantern with that shiny new thing. And once he gets those certain amount of kills, that will build into, oh my gosh, what is that called? Feral Flare. That's what it's called. Once he kills those 25 large monsters. And it looks like a gank going up at top lane. Warwick doing a nice suppress. It might be enough to save Jax. But Jax overstays his welcome, and Trundle is able to flash keep up with him and get that kill. And Raka comes in for the support. Yi is coming up as well, so it looks like they might do a 3-man push, but Yi decides to double back, try and support that mid lane here with the help of Karma. Because Karma, if she goes in right now on Zed, she is most likely going to die. Manages to land the Q, not the follow-up there with that mantra on it. She does get the binding there on Zed, but he should be able to dash over the wall. Yi tries to keep up with him, burning that flash to get over the wall. Here comes the Alpha Strike. There's a nice ultimate there from Zed, mitigating some of that damage. Zed comes back down, manages to avoid some of it, and actually jukes out the E because Yi thought he was going to reset. Nice bind once again on Karma. He looks like he might be able to get away, doing some nice slows there. Karma still managing to keep up here. We'll see if she can land the Qs. She is low on mana, but she does manage to land that nice Q there and picks up the kill. So blue team very strong all across the board. Even their support is actually starting to get pretty substantially fed. Nobody has given up a kill except for that Raka and that not quite first blood, but I want to say it was the 3rd kill of the game. But Warwick, with that only kill of the game, is actually proven to be very, very bad for this purple team. And the gold advantage is about 5.4k in blue team's favor. Purple team did manage to get that dragon, but the ability to take 2 turrets here, and just 3 turrets now, and just have strong lane presence across the board, and just a gold advantage all across the board, is proving to be very, very strong. So once again, looking at those items, Lucian, he does have that Vampiric Scepter, so he will have a little bit more sustain. Trundle did manage to fill that Blade of the Rune King, and voila, there is that Bloodthirster there on Lucian. So he will have a tremendous amount of sustain and damage now. And it looks like Corki is actually deciding to go Vamp Scepter into Phage, it looks like, which is very interesting. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with it, but, you know, to each their own. And the support's going for those quick Frost Fangs and also into the Sightstones for that control and the gold generation. And Mastery did also finish that Wriggles Lantern. So a lot of major items here going across the board. Rocket deciding to go with that quick Athene's Unholy Grail for that cooldown reduction and massive mana regen that it does provide. Zed, on the other hand, decided to go with that Hexstringer for that little bit of survivability. And once again, that will build into the Mob Malmortius, which will provide a little bit of damage, quite a bit of survivability, but a little bit more damage once he starts getting a little bit more health. But it looks like he is also building double daggers, which makes me think he also wants to build that into a Blade of the Rune King. But it will be interesting to see what exactly he decides to build it into. A little bit of poking down, going down here at the mid lane. Meanwhile, at top, Trundle is pushing out, trying to put a little bit more pressure on this purple team, and blue team taking advantage of the fact that blue team does not have very strong vision right now, and the fact that Jax is exposed, and they did reveal quite a few people there at that mid lane, taking that dragon, bringing that gold advantage to just over 6k in blue team's favor. So blue team very good at controlling these objectives, but Trundle did overstay his welcome here at this top lane and does get 3-man ganked, almost gets the kill on Jax, but does go down, giving up 2 assists and a kill, bringing that gold advantage just a little bit back in purple team's favor. But it is still just under 6k, which is substantial at this middle stage of the game. Keep in mind, we are 4 minutes into this game with 3 turrets down here for this purple team. So might start to get a little bit hairy. We are nearing the team fight stage of this game, and blue team has very strong map control, while purple team only has this pink ward over at this red buff, at their own red buff, and then a ward here that's about to run out, actually, on this river. Meanwhile, blue team has wards all over the purple team jungle. So nice ward control here. Karma trying to put a little bit of pressure here while dropping wards all over the place. And yeah, nothing too significant. There's the Jax with that Bilgewater Cutlass and the Ninja Tabby now, which will mitigate a lot of the damage since there is a substantial amount of AD here. Rocket does provide a lot of magic damage over a sustained fight, but she isn't very bursty, so that MR isn't going to do nearly as much, while the Lucian and there's a lot of AD damage here on this blue team. Jax trying to catch someone out here, but unfortunately they kind of overstayed their welcome, and now blue team is going to be able to counter engage. Master Yi getting a beautiful meditate, mitigating a lot of damage, and it looks like he might stay alive even. And purple team just giving up kills left and right here, and tons of kills going down. Lucian managing to stay space here and picks up the kill there on the Warwick. There's the triple kill. He might actually get a quadra kill here. Getting a little greedy, gets the quadra, but he does give the shutdown kill there to Zed. So beautifully played there by that Lucian, but unfortunately giving down that shutdown kill might be enough gold influx to give this Zed just enough advantage where they might be able to make a comeback. Gold advantage is now just under 9k in blue team's favor, and down goes yet another turret. So it is 5-0 on these turrets and 1-1 on dragons, if I recall. Dragon will be back up here once again very shortly, and with all these backs and that huge gold influx that they did get from those 2 turrets, we'll see what everybody devised. Looks like Soraka decided to go with the Ninja Tabby to mitigate a lot of that 80 damage. Once again, it looks like Trundle got caught out, but I think he should be able to get away with those Pillars of Filth. I'm sorry, Frozen Pillar of Ice now. I'm used to the old Trundle names. Anyway, Pillar of Ice. He does get that frozen domain down. He manages to run just a little bit further before Jax picks up the kill with a nice little leap strike here. And Trundle gets all sorts of confused because he didn't expect to die there, it looks like. So unfortunate there for Trundle, but blue team is still sitting very good. They have a huge minion wave here going towards this bottom lane. Meanwhile, both mid is pushing as well, and top would be pushing too, but Jax is exposed up there as well. I believe Dragon will be coming up here relatively soon. And we'll see how well this purple team does towards this mid to late game. Lucian is starting to get some pretty nasty items. With the Zeal, he will have a substantial more amount of damage, and look at that, he's just dishing it out here on the Zed, forcing him back once again. Karma decided to go with a little bit more offense here for a support, going with that Haunted Guys, most likely building that into a Leander's Torment for that additional poke damage from her Q. Since it does provide a slow, it does get that doubling effect there on the magic damage, percent magic damage based off your current health. And so that will provide a little bit more poke, which Karma is a very good poker. Plus, she can be a little bit annoying to deal with just because of the fact she has that kind of weird health sustain from her W. Plus, she has the shield and pretty decent mobility. She loves getting chased down just because she can provide almost guaranteed damage there with her W, her Q, and then she can mitigate a lot of damage with her shield, which does give that movement speed as well. So Karma, a very interesting champion. Once she gets to late game, she can be a lot more destructive to a team. But I would say her stronger points are at that middle stages of the game. Master Yi does have that Blade of the Rune King, so he will have a lot more sustained damage. And it looks like blue team decided to engage on Baron, which I do not agree with at all. keep in mind they did have strong vision control, and it looks like they are going to be able to maintain that vision control. But definitely a little bit dangerous here to be engaging Baron with only 2 to 3 members, especially when you don't know when where all the purple team members are. But blue team did manage to split push on that bottom turret, bringing the turret count now to 6-0, and the gold advantage is just under 10k in blue team's favor. So this game is not over yet, but blue team definitely has a very, very strong advantage. We'll see if purple team can start playing a little bit more strong. Or keep in mind, purple team is very good at catching people out with Morgana and Warwick. Oh man, Zed taking some big damage here from this Master Yi, but unfortunately gets suppressed there from that Warwick, and Zed manages to pick up the kill there with a shadow, it looked like, or ignite. I'm not quite sure which. Ignite, it looks like. So nice little play there from the purple team, managing to pick up a pretty high gold target there, and it looks like Trundle is going to overstay his welcome yet again. Jax, it looks like he might be able to get away. Warwick does not have that ultimate, so he can't suppress and lock him down in order to ensure the kill, but Morgana is still in this area, and with Jax, Morgana, and Warwick, they should be able to get the kill between all of them. So, and it looks like Dragon is back up. We're gonna, well, not quite up, 7 seconds, and it looks like we're gonna start seeing some ward fights and some dance around Dragon. Blue team is mobilizing fairly heavily, trying to catch Corki here, and it looks like they do manage to do it, and there's a kill there for Lucian, and that's actually gonna be really bad for this purple team, because with their AD carry down, they aren't going to be able to contest some of these fights nearly as much. Karma looks like she's trying to catch somebody out here in the open, trying to poke a little bit, but blue team has very strong control here of this map. Meanwhile, Master Yi is going to be able to pick up this dragon. Looks like uncontested, since purple team is all over top and mid lane right now, and that jungle. So there's yet another dragon. The gold advantage is now just under 11k in blue team's favor. So once again, taking a look at those items, Lucian, he does have that static shiv now, so he does have that additional magic damage, a little bit more bursty now, but he does have that movement speed. Trundle once again getting caught out of position, and gives up yet another kill. That's bringing his death advantage to actually negative, so he has 2 and 3 now. So there is definitely some hope here, because giving up those kills consistently is proving to be very, very devastating. And Lucian putting out big damage there. Looks like he looks like he might be able to pick up the kill on Morgana before she actually gets the ultimate off. Picks up, and Yi manages to pick up the turret there, cracking that base, but he does give up his own life, and it looks like Soraka might go down as well. But keep in mind, the longer that fight goes down, the more MR shred she does get off on those targets, the more damage she does. And AP Soraka does a lot of damage, and she has the strong ability to lock down targets with that very long silence. I believe it is a 2-second silence at this level, 1.5. That's right, they nerfed that effect. Anyway, Karma gets engaged upon by Jax. Corki tries to support as much as he can. Zed comes in a little bit late to the party, does take a big damage, and I think he is going to go down to Lucian. Static Shiv looks like it actually picked up the kill, but now Lucian is caught a little bit out, gets bound just underneath the turret, and actually gives up the kill there to Warwick. Morgana gets out barely alive. Warwick is now trying to chase down somebody else here. Manages to keep pace. Trundle does engage, and it looks like he might barely get alive, but Trundle picks up the kill there with an ignite, it looks like. No. Just his ultimate? Anyway, blue team pushing out here. It looks like they are going to be able to get the inhibitor. This game is definitely still not a sure thing for this blue team, but with that inhibitor down, they are going to have a very strong push here at this mid lane. Bottom lane is pushing as well, so is top, and Trundle is going to clear that bottom lane, and it looks like purple team's going to try and go back and get a little bit of gold, a couple more items, and hope to be able to contest this blue team Baron push, which is most likely on the horizon here. Keep in mind, blue team still has fairly strong vision. Purple team only has this pink ward here over at the red buff, while blue team has vision all across that northern jungle, and also they have this pink ward at the Baron buff, so they are aware that there is warded now. So nice placement there of that ward. Blue team should be able to take out this ward before purple team can take out that pink ward, and we will see Master Yi coming in. Looks like he is going to try and shred that up. Morgana positioning it so she can at least dish out a little bit of damage here, and we'll see if Warwick decides to contest it at all. She does engage the Baron there, so it does start doing a little bit of damage. Yi apparently not caring too much because he does have that healing support plus that health regeneration from the Blade of the Rune King. And it looks like blue team decides to back away, realizing that purple team is all there. And it decides to disengage from that Baron. Blue team still has very strong ward control of this map, and it looks like Morgana once again engaging that Baron. It's going to be enough to force. Morgana very good at engaging that Baron with that Tormented Soil, pushing out a little bit of damage there as well with that MR Shred and then the Baron buff. Morgana throws out the binding, locks it down. Zed should be able to escape here. Blue team not being able to get a catch, but do manages to take out that ward once again here over the turn. Master Yi engaging. It looks like he wants to try and solo this Baron buff. His team is not in a position to support him. Meanwhile, his team is trying to stave off this purple team, and it looks like they are going to be forced to disengage once again. Master Yi taking some pretty brutal damage, but they are keeping engaged, and they are taking some big damage. Warwick actually manages to get the kill there on Trundle, who gets caught out of position, and blue team gets forced back once again. Purple team realizing that they do have this strong minion wave here coming up the mid lane, which will end up pushing all of their lanes, which are already fairly pushed already, is not able to capitalize on the fact that blue team is forced to disengage for a third time from that Baron buff. And it looks like blue team is doing a very nice job of keeping this the pressure here on this Baron dance. And there's a fourth disengage from this Baron buff. Keep in mind they do have Soraka, so she does have those sustains, and Lucian has quite a bit of sustainability. But this dance around Baron being forced to disengage once again is costing a lot of time when they could be putting pressure on these turrets, taking down another inhibitor, and just putting pressure all across the board. So I don't necessarily agree with trying to force this Baron through, but blue team does have a startling advantage. So it might be part of their plan where they're just trying to force purple team into overcommitting to try and stop that Baron fight. And Morgana once again trying to engage that Baron just to do a little bit of poke here on this Karma. And she does manages to land the bind. There's the Tormented Soil, so Karma is going to take quite a bit of damage here from that Baron. And it might be enough to stave off this team fight just a little bit. Taking a look at the items, we do have some significant ones. Soraka does have that needlessly large rod, which is going to provide her with a lot more damage. Morgana takes a little bit of damage, but I thought she might have gotten caught there. Warwick was there to support if necessary. Blue team once again positioning to try and take this Baron. Managing to clear this vision yet again, and it looks like we're going to see finally some sort of Baron fight here coming up here. Purple team is slowly converging on it. Jax is coming up. Trundle is putting on the pressure on top lane as well. And meanwhile, that pressure from those super creeps is still going out. Corki actually gets caught by Master Yi, which is very rough. And it looks like Zed tries to engage, picks up the kill, but doesn't quite manage to get it. Looks like he jukes out, but does give up the kill to Lucian. And this is most likely going to be the game, ladies and gentlemen. Two of the very important targets, and Warwick goes down. That is a 3-for-0 exchange there across the board. Blue team did fail to surrender. And it looks like they might almost get that Morgana as well, but not quite. Jax is still there to support, but down goes another inhibitor at that mid lane, which is going to push out yet again. Blue team having a very strong push here at this top turret. Should be able to get another inhib and probably push for the win here. Corki is back up. Zed is coming up here in just a few more seconds, so we'll see if they can support this. And if blue team actually looks like they are going to fall back, try and quit while they're ahead. Don't want to force it through, since 5 members of purple team will be back up here fairly shortly, and we'll see if blue team can take this Baron buff, because it looks like that's what they want to do. Healing up, Lucian getting back up to full health with that lifesteal from his Bloodthirster, and here comes the Baron once again. Down goes that Vision Ward, and here goes the Baron buff. Purple team converging. Morgana trying to do something here, but nice. And Lucian doing a very good job of body blocking purple team from engaging on this. And it looks like blue team is going to be able to get this Baron buff. We'll see if the steal happens. Zed comes over the wall, but does go down, which means blue team is most likely going to be able to get this. Warwick flashes over the wall, does get the steal with the smite. Blue team, it does manage to pick him up, though. So there's the double kill. 2 members are down for purple team. Corki is so far behind that he gets forced out before he manages to do any damage. Jax goes down to that Lucian, who does get that triple kill. Keep in mind that Lucian is 13-2, so he is a monster because he has 3 major items. Manages to flash over that Morgana binding, and I think he should be able to pick up the kill there with the Relentless Assault. Doing big damage, picks up the kill, unstoppable, unofficial quadra there. I don't think he is going to be able to get that unofficial penta, and blue team is pushing out hard. Looks like they should be able to get 2 turrets. Zed is back up, but Corki is forced way back, and blue team once again gets picked up, and this is going to be the game, ladies and gentlemen. Rough game here for this purple team. But blue team did a very strong job of controlling all of the lanes, and their jungler manages to stay ahead. Blue team just doing a very good job. The only really glaring thing that happened was Trundle. He had a very strong advantage, and then he gave up a lot of kills to over pushing that top lane. But also, purple team did have to commit a lot of resources to that top lane to really take out the Trundle, which allowed blue team to push out on those bottom and middle turrets. Eventually that middle inhibitor, and just proved to be the ultimate downfall was that just gold advantage, control of the map, and just mispositioning by this purple team. And just not to mention Corki was completely shut down. And also, I'm not sure if you see Corki's final build, but it is a Trinity Force into Sork boots. Don't know what's going on with that. I think the Sork boots are a troll, but maybe not. A lot of his abilities do magic damage. He does have the Gatling gun, which does physical and armor shit. I don't know. I don't think I necessarily agree with Sork Boots. I probably would have gone with either Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads, even though they don't have a ton of CC. Probably Ninja Tabby then, if I wasn't going to go with Berserker Greaves. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. Just because right now in the current meta, it is so strong to get that big damage there from the Bloodthirster into either Static Shiv or Phantom Dancer, and then followed up with an Infinity Edge. It's just such big damage, while Trinity costs so much gold, and it provides a little bit of sustained damage, but it's mainly bursty kind of poke sort of thing, and the ability to stick to a target. Like, it does provide a lot of trading potential, especially at the early or extremely late stages of the game. But I don't think it's a very good first item. I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy it. I'm sorry for the long hiatus there. It was hard for me to get back into the flow. To give a quick summary of basically why I wasn't producing a lot of games is it's a lot harder for me to find the games. The program that I was using to find games is no longer functioning, which means I have to manually go through, and I can only spectate challenger games, and with the hours that I work in my real life, it makes it very difficult for me to actually find games. Plus, I got busy with some other things, so I'm sorry for the huge delay. I hope you guys are still sticking around, enjoying the content, and welcome to Season 4. I'm hoping to be producing a lot more content. And just kind of another shout out here, I am actually a commentator for a Warrior Esports, and that's what I have been doing for the past couple months, is I am a commentator for this warrior-esports.com, which they provide. They used to be monthly tournaments, but they're bi-monthly tournaments. Anybody can enter. You don't have to have a certain ELO. There's no cash entry, but you can get prizes. The prizes have varied from cash prizes for one event, but they're mainly RP prizes. So make sure you come check it out. So you guys can also watch me stream there. The last couple tournaments I have been casting with my brother. He goes by the handle Splendid Bobble, or just Bobble. I'm not quite sure. And check them out. If you guys want, you can actually even play too. If you have 5 members, you don't have to be that good. A lot of the people that enroll are actually bronze and silver, but we do have a couple platinum, diamond. We don't have anybody in the Challenger League, so no worries there. But you can get some RP. You maybe even get some cash prizes, but for the most part, they are those RP prizes. So before I go ranting too far on about that, I hope you guys check it out. Once again, that website is called warrior-esports.com. Sorry, shameless plugs here. And once again, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please hit that like button, favorite, subscribe. You know the drill. I really do appreciate all of the support. And once again, I'd like to thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video.